Hey there guys, and welcome back. So you want to do some edge jointing. You want to butt up some boards together and glue them up, but you don't have a jointer. So what do? Well, on today's show I'm going to show you how to use your router table to do edge jointing when you don't have a jointer planer. Here we have my router table, and the table itself is made by me, but the top is an old Freud tabletop with a Freud fence. And now this particular fence does have the dial-in mechanism here so that you can adjust the outfeed side of your fence. But for this particular instance, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. So what you need to do is you need to find a way, for starters, to get your outfeed table to be just just proud of or outside of your infeed side. And I'm going to show you how to do that. What we're going to use to make our outfeed ever so slightly proud of our infeed is some 1/8 of an inch hardboard, and we're going to cut a piece on the table saw that will mimic this outfeed table. So you want it the same height and the same length. Once you get this board cut, you then want to take some double-sided carpet tape and you want to cut a few strips of it, and you want to use it to adhere this hardboard strip to the outfeed side of your router table. So for those of you that aren't sure which is the outfeed, you feed in a router table from right to left, so your outfeed is your left side of the table when facing the router. The next thing you're going to need is a straight cutter bit. Now I have this one here with the guide bearing, and that's just fine. The guide bearing just makes it a little easier to set this up. So we're going to install this into the router. So first and foremost, you want to make sure, of course, that the unit is unplugged. The cutting surface of the bit has to be as wide as, or as deep as, or deeper than the stock that you're cutting. And as long as you've got that, you're all right. The piece of poplar here that I'm going to be edging is only about 3/8 of an inch thick. So I have no problem. But with this here, it looks like I can go up to a 1-inch piece of board for jointing. And of course, depending on your bit and what its cutting surface is, you may be able to do more than that. But this particular bit, I'm looking at a maximum of 1-inch thick material. So now is the important part, the setup. What we want to do here is use a straight edge and place it on your outfeed table. Once you have it on that outfeed table, you want to place or adjust your fence so that your outfeed table is level with or at the same distance as your bit. So the infeed table, if you put your straight edge there, this will actually hit your bit. Whereas this here, your outfeed table, will be flush with your bearing. So once you get it set like that, tighten down your fence. As I said before, this is the piece of poplar here that I want to joint edge, and as you can see, this edge actually is rough cut. There is nothing taken care of with that at all, and it is definitely uneven. So I'll just run through what the premise of this is, and the premise is the same as a jointer. Whereas you will start feeding your piece in, it will trim off just enough to get you running flush onto this outfeed table, which is 1/8 of an inch out. From there, the way that you apply the pressure, and please guys, use push pads with this, do not use your hands, but you will apply pressure then to the outfeed table now. That is where the pressure will be applied, so that as your stock is pulled across your outfeed table, the router bit will be trimming off anything that lags behind it. Hence the reason why this is shy of the blade for your infeed, and your outfeed is flush with the blade. Same premise as a jointer, except now we flipped it up on end, and instead of jointer blades we're using a router bit. So I'm going to get this plugged in, get a little bit of dust collection hooked up to it, and I'll show you how this works. And I just want to show you how well that works here. From that rough edge that we had, you can see how clean that is. And I'll just take a straight edge and put it on there. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's right on the money there. Nice and straight with no gaps. So with that now being done, we've got our straight edge on our board. And there you have it. Edge jointing with the router table, and all it took was a little bit of hardboard on the outfeed side of the fence. Now, I use 1/8 hardboard, and to be honest, I used that because that's what I had, and because it was poplar. If I was going with a harder wood, I wouldn't be taking 1/8 of an inch passes. That would be like way too hard on the bit. So, of course, in order to take a lighter pass, you just need thinner material on the opposite side. It doesn't have to be hardboard as long as it's flat. It can be aluminum, it could be sheet metal, it could be whatever you want, as long as it's flat and it makes the outfeed table stick out beyond the infeed, so that you can set that distance to your router bit. Guys, I hope this has helped you, give you another router technique that you may not normally use. And I know for some of you guys that don't have jointer planers, this will be a blessing in disguise. So give it a try. It takes some practice. The secret is the pressure on the outfeed side, guys. If you put pressure on the infeed, you're going to end up with an arc being routed out. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you again next week with another woodworking video.